Hi everyone. In this lecture, we will look at conditional formatting. And on this example, we are going to spend a little bit of time. So let's get comfortable. I have my sales values and let me choose some records from here. This should be good. Paste it here and increase the size to, let's say, 150. Perfect. Align center. And we also need some, so let's say this is my ship mode and this is the sales value. And we need some numbers here. So I'll just select ran between 100 and 200. That gives me some random numbers. Excellent. Now, what is the best way to present this data? Only the numbers might not be sufficient because the numbers by themselves are very difficult to determine if the number is large or the number is small. One option might be to sort and filter the data, but you might not always want to do that. And you want to do something which is much more visual. So we select the entire range of values. And now we want to go to data validation. I'm sorry, we want to go to conditional formatting. So on format, we go to conditional formatting. And now a pane opens on the right side. And let's understand this one by one. We have selected the range B2 to B10. And then if I select the color scale, you see that an automatic color scale is applied, which means that the smaller numbers are more greener and the lighter numbers are a slightly lighter shade. Of course, this can be changed. So I can say that the minimum value should be a very light shade here. And then the maximum value should be maybe a green like this. Looks much better. Now we can also control the scale of values. So I can say that do not select the minimum as the first color. I want a number. So let's say that everything is on a scale of 0 to another number, which is, let's say, 500. Now you will notice here that all of these colors on the numbers seem very light green. There is nothing dark green. And the reason is because there is no number that is close to 500. But the moment I add, let's say, a 456, this becomes dark green. And on the other side of the spectrum, if I put 45, it becomes light green. You can also change the colors. So click on the preview and you have different colors available here. So these are some standard options that have been given to you. Let me also change this back to minimum and maximum. That's much better. Select green here. And let's change this to 145. Perfect. Obviously, if you want to have two colors, you can select the last one, which is the red to white to green. And you also have the green to yellow to red, like this. They're all correct. It depends on how you want to use them. You can also go to custom color scale where you can essentially choose your own colors as well, right? So you have these standard and you can choose your own. Now, once a conditional formatting has been applied, let me close this. If you go back to, I'm sorry, if I go back to format and select conditional formatting, you can see that it tells me that a rule has been applied from B2 to B10, and obviously other rules can be applied as well. If you want to delete it, simply delete. If you want to edit it, click on it and you can edit it. Now there are many other options that are available. So in format rules, we have something called is empty. So if I select is empty, you see that the moment a cell becomes empty, it automatically gets colored. And this is so useful because this allows you to identify if you have missed out any values and make a fix. And then you have many other options available, similar to what we did in data validation. You can even write your own custom formulas. For example, in custom formula, we can say that equal to, we will say that greater than 100. Click on done. And you can see here, okay, so that did not work. Oh, so we have to put B2 to B10 one more time. So we also have to write B2 to B10 is greater than 100. And if any number is less than 100, you can see that the color goes away. Now, some of you must be wondering, but Havish, why do we have to select B2 to B10 if you're already choosing B2 to B10 as a range that we have? The reason for this is that if you want to apply the colors to a different range, let's say C2 to C10, that is also possible. So it's interesting because the condition is in B2 to B10, but the colors will be applied to C2 to C10 like this. And this has use cases, right? Because it depends on where you want the color in a corresponding or an adjacent column or in the same column where the values are also present. So I'm not going to go through all of these options since most of these are self-explanatory, but definitely make sure to go and have a look at it. One other thing I wanted to show you, let me first delete my conditional formatting. All right. Another thing I wanted to show you was that we can also have multiple rules on the same set of data. So maybe the first rule that we have is a color scale, right? And on top of that, we also want to keep a second rule. So let's click on done. And I will not modify the first one. We will add another rule. And here we will say that greater than, and we will say that any value that is greater than 175. So equal to B2 to B10 is greater than 175 should be bold. So that did not work. Let's do it in a slightly different way. So rather than, okay, I'm sorry. So we have selected greater than, so we don't need to write the condition. We just need to write 175. And you can see that 194 and 184 have been highlighted. And you can also say a strike through like this. Essentially choose any format that you want. So this is how you can nest multiple conditions one below the other. Also keep in mind that you might want to change the order of these conditions as well if your conditions are not working properly the first time. Now that we have done this, let me show you how we can create a heat map where we have more columns with us. So let's say that this is Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Then we again have Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4 like this. We need some numbers as well. So let me insert some random numbers between 100 and 200. All right. Let's remove these. What we want to do is to create a heat map. And let me just show you how that looks. This is how heat maps are presented, where you don't have to necessarily use reds and greens. Any color can be used. And the idea is usually not to focus on the numbers, but just to focus on the colors that we have. To do this, we will select the data. And just like we did earlier, after selecting conditional formatting, we will add a rule. Let's go to color scale, and we can add a nice color scale like this one. And you can see that we have a scale ranging from larger numbers that right now are red. So let's reverse that. So let me say that larger numbers that we have should be green, smaller numbers should be red, and the numbers in the middle should be yellow. Since this works on percentile, you can also change the percentile here. So I can say that maybe I want my 75th percentile. like this. So you can control it the way you want to. Now there is one more thing that we might want to do, which is to remove the numbers altogether. See, the point of a heat map usually is to just present the colors and not really show the numbers. You might want to, but what if you don't want to show the numbers? If you do not want to show the numbers, go to Format. In Numbers, select More Formats and select Custom Number Format. And here in Custom Number Format, you will have to put 1, 2, 3 semicolons. And the moment you do that and click on Apply, the numbers are hidden. If you want to bring them back, simply go to Number and select Automatic, and the numbers will come back.